On
What's
you.
up, guys? Welcome to the NGPT podcast. It's Malaki and Steven. We're back for episode 2. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Brock Waluk. I'm sure most of you guys recognize him from around ARC. Yeah, we're back. I'm sounding better than ever, right, Malaki?
Yeah, upgraded mics definitely make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
This episode should sound much better. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we appreciate all the support from episode 1. Lots of good feedback from that. And yeah, we're looking forward to doing even more of these. So today we're going to speak to Brock. I think we want to start off with a little bit more of your personal side to begin with. Specifically, what we see outside of here is how you are as an awesome husband and father. And I think I would like to touch on that to let the audience know a little bit more about you outside of here. Okay, what that looks like.
Sure. Wow. Okay. Where to start? So one of my biggest passions is, being a good father, being a good husband. A lot of that stemmed from how I grew up and just wanting to do like just a better job, than what my parents did, and so to speak. And it's not to knock on my parents. It's just they knew what they knew, right? So probably in my early 20s, I realized that I needed to make a shift as a man to who I wanted to become. And there was a lot of mistakes along the way, into my even 30s, and just figuring out who I was as a person, who I was as an individual. But with that being said, it was still like this dying passion inside of me. Like I always felt like I just wanted to be more, do more, be better, be a leader, all those types of things, be a leader of your household first. So a lot of that, again, goes back to just being an example for my son, an example for my wife, trying to be the lead by example to our team, who, some of you guys have significant others, some of you don't, but regardless, as a man, just trying to be a good example for all of you, even though, knowing also that we're flawed human beings, and, it's not about being perfect and we make mistakes. It's about admitting those mistakes and correcting them and moving forward from those things, so.
Yeah, I think you touched on a great point there, talking about how that kind of translates over to how you lead this team, right? And we see that daily, just the things you go about with just personal growth in general, and how that is so important, and how that has come down upon like all of us as trainers. Like each of us have our own passions, but we also go after personal growth different ways. And you being a leader in that really helps all of us kind of pursue those things.
Yeah.
And it's super important for all of us, really. So,
it never really was touched on or anything, but as a younger member of our team, it's really cool to watch you and Justice watch your little boy as he's running around the gym, kind of setting an example, not just for anybody that is around you, but for the people that get to witness daily how you and Justice interact, and like just how good of a young man he's growing up to be, which is really nice. For somebody about my age, it'll be cool to have that kind of relationship with my kids someday.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I think the biggest word is just intention, right? If you have intention and effort in being a good parent, being a good significant other, like where I feel like, again, past generations, they worked hard, but it was that also there's many resources now. There wasn't a lot of resources on how to be a good parent back in the day, right? It was that you just did what you had to do. So there's no excuse for it. And one of the things that I'll say is, like, you got to be careful too, because you don't want to flip the script so far the other way where, and I've seen this happen, where you're coddling so much, where you give your kid everything that they want. They don't have, and then they have no struggles to go through. Then you actually ended up setting up for major failure in the future, right? Where they've never had a struggle. So by the time they hit adulthood, they don't know what it's like to go through hard things. They're used to everything being handed to them, and they don't know how to handle that type of stress. So there's definitely a fine balance of raising them properly with love and care and kindness, with proper leadership, with also like teaching them a work ethic, right? So our landlord just asked Justice a couple weeks ago if he wanted to start mowing the yard. He's 10 years old, right? So once a week he mows the yard, makes $20, and literally probably takes him like 15 minutes to do it. Right.
That's awesome.
So like little things like that, where he's earning his own money. He's got savings box. Yeah, 100%. These little savings box that he's put, because I'm already talking to him about, you got it 6 years from now, you're going to have to buy a car. So you better start saving, so he's doing it. So I said, and I'll maybe go halves with you, but let's see what you can create over the next 6 years, so
that's great. And I see, when he's in here all the time, I can just see you and him like all the time, because he is such a good young man, like Malaki mentioned. And he's a joy, man. He's so awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's a good kid.
Yeah. You brought up a good point. How do you kind of balance that? Like, you've been, I can, from what I can piece together, you've put together a really good life for Justice as is. How do you challenge him in different ways to help him maybe work through some complications on his own? And granted, he's only 10.
Yeah, he's only 10.
Right. Obviously, he shouldn't be going through like stupidly hard stuff right now, but like just making him think a little bit and, maybe problem solve a little.
Sure.
If you've ever.
So my son is a lot like me in the sense of that he thinks he knows more than what he does. And I've struggled with that at times, thinking, and I've learned how to humble myself. And so he's 10 and he thinks he knows things that he doesn't know.
Right.
And so he'll try to do something and he'll screw it up and he'll get frustrated. And I'll say, hey, but why don't you try doing it? He's like, I got it. I was like, okay. And I just step back and let him fail. So that's one of the things we do. My son's super emotional, which I was as a child too. So there is a fine balance of how much I can push him.
Right.
Here's an example. So he's getting ready for his junior black belt test, which is in a few weeks, but he's got to run 3 miles under 30 minutes. He's got to do 100 push-ups. I think it's 100 sit-ups, 50 burpee push-ups, then a skills test on top of that, right? So we're starting to get the running and stuff. And so he was running the other day, and it's hard.
That's tough for a 10-year-old. It's tough for anyone.
It's tough for anybody,
yeah.
Right? And like in the gym, he starts breaking down and he's crying. And so we go in the back and we have a conversation about preparation, that doing the hard stuff now is going to be the thing that allows you to do the hard things later, right?
Make the hard things easier.
Yep. Make them easier. And then we talked about just like, it's okay to work through hard things and it's okay to be in pain for a period of time. But if you're not used to feeling that, and
scary.
Working through hard, it's scary and it hurts and you don't know how to process that, especially as a 10-year-old. So he'll break down and start crying. So we went in the back, we talked through it. We came back out. I did another round with him. And then I walked away and let him do the third round on his own with no coaching.
Right.
And then after he got done, he came and he's like, Daddy, I did the third round and I didn't stop. And I was like, good job. And he was so proud of himself for being able to accomplish that, know. Where I've seen some parents fail is they would have like run their kid into the ground. Why are you crying? And you just keep going. You got to work through it. And I don't think that's not the right approach for my son.
Right.
Right. I need to gradually build him up little by little versus just like pummel. And again, can that work for some parents and sons? Maybe that's okay, or kids, but like for my kid, he needs a little bit more, a little bit of hardness, a little bit of softness, a little mix of the two, right? And then he learns to trust me that I'm not going to hurt him.
Right.
Right.
Not going to push him too much. It's no different than
with our clients. We know how to push them just enough, and then we build that trust with them. So it's the same thing with parenting. You learn how to build that trust, and he now will trust me next time I tell him, hey, let's do this thing.
Right.
And now he's not going to question it as much. So. Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing to be able to have that confidence. You build that confidence in time, going through those hard things.
Yeah,
it's great.
Awesome.
Wanted to talk also about being a husband. How long have you and Courtney been together? How long have you been married?
Yeah, so Court and I have been together for a little over 9 years. We'll be married 3 years this coming October. And some people know, they'll listen to this, but I was married previously and divorced, and I take a lot of responsibility for that because I was not the man that I needed to be. In my early 20s, I was married at 23 years old, and I had a lot to learn. I had no business being a husband, to be honest with you. So I learned a lot of things that I needed to do different. That I then would apply to my second marriage, so to speak, right? And again, Courtney and I were we get each other. Like, so sometimes it's the person, that helps. I'm not trying to say like, sometimes people are like, oh, someone's my soulmate or whatever. I'm not saying that's not true. That can be true. I think compatibility does matter.
Right.
I think how you view the world and those types of things matter. And so regardless, I had to now in my second marriage, wanted to step up and make sure, again, no different. I wanted to lead from the front.
Mhm.
I am a bit of a traditionalist. This isn't to put down feminism in any capacity. But I do believe that men have the responsibility to provide and protect for their family. That doesn't mean the woman shouldn't work and all that type of stuff. They can, but that should be an option that they want to do that, not because they have to. I've seen too many instances where men don't lead in their household. And so the women have to become the more masculine person to lead their home.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that's a tough path. It's a tough path for the men and the women to go down because, the woman's kind of leading the house, maybe also the job and all that type of stuff. And the man then loses his sense of manhood. Right. So again, there's a lot of like kind of back and forth with this type of stuff. But Courtney also does a really good job of letting me lead. Right. So it's a give and take with her and I, and she works part-time a couple days a week. She's a cycle instructor, but then she also waitresses a couple nights a week. And then we've agreed that it makes sense for her to stay home those other days and take care of our house. Because it's really nice for us that when I get home with work, house is clean, my clothes are clean, she'll have dinner ready, those types of things. And that really works well for our household. Again, that's not everybody. It's just what we found that works for us to keep our peace, kind of moving forward. And again, that's, and then I know when Courtney and I were looking to have kids, like she wasn't sure if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and maybe homeschool. Justice is homeschooled, and I will give credit to Justice's mom. She's a phenomenal mom, so we split custody and she does a great job. So it's not just me, it's her as well. So I need to give credit where credit's due. But Court wants to probably stay at home, and we might do homeschool and stuff like that now too, because she's also kind of see how it's worked with Justice. You know what I mean? So again, not for every family, but it works for us. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, do you see that for you and Courtney's situation, your relationship, that those roles for you guys both give you purpose, and that's been able to balance and be healthy for you guys? Because sometimes that's where young relationships have issues, is that one person has maybe too much responsibility, the other one doesn't have too much of a purpose in the relationship, and the balance gets really thrown off, and then it just drains one person and not the other.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I would say yes. And purpose is one thing, because purpose looks different for everybody, right? Somebody might be super ambitious and like want to build a business and all these types of things. And another one could, again, want to be home and take care of the house. And she's passionate about fashion too. So she'll do fashion stuff, and all that stuff matters. But I think the thing that maybe even matters more is what type of growth journey are you on? And are you on a similar growth journey with your significant other? Right. Or are you the only one that's pouring into you and you're growing and you're changing and the other person's remains stagnant? Right.
Right.
And that can be tough because as you grow, you change and you start to see the world differently. It's how it works. You tend to be more empathetic, more compassionate. You see the world differently. And if the other person's not growing and they're staying, like, you end up growing like this
Separately.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that can be a challenge. So Courtney doesn't pursue personal growth quite like I do, but she does, right? She's still, and I'm not saying podcasts and reading is the only thing you do, but what you pour into yourself comes out. So she does a lot of that, maybe not to the extent that I do, but it was important. I introduced her to the personal growth world, so to speak. So, and since she's done that, her mindset's shifted, and she'll tell you, I know eventually you guys are going to have her on an episode so you can, talk to her about some of that stuff, but she's changed significantly. And when I say change is good. I think the biggest thing you need to change is if there's character flaws among yourself. Those are the things you need to change. You don't need to change who you are as a person and like your identity of like, okay, well, this is my personality. And you're like, I'm going to try to be someone else that I'm not. That's not, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about things that are character flaws amongst yourself that you know about you that maybe people don't know.
Right.
Oh, I'm this way or this way, and I can do this better. And those are the things that we need to be working on.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I know you guys got married in a pretty special place. Can you talk about kind of where that was and how that came about?
Sure. Yeah. So, Court and I are into like, and it's even more her than it is me, like vampire stuff. And like, she's big into horror, but we always wanted to go to New Orleans, and New Orleans is like the vampire capital of the world, so to speak. And it's just super special. So that wasn't the only reason, but there's a lot of culture, there's music. It's a special, special place. So we had planned to do a regular wedding with a bunch of people, and that if anybody's ever like planned a wedding, there's this drama and all that stuff. So we decided to nix it. We're just going to go do our own thing. And so we go to this special city, and it is the most beautiful place to us. I've heard other people go to New Orleans and they hate it. So just, again, everybody has places that they like, but I love the art, the culture, the music, the lore behind, the vampires and ghosts and that type of stuff. It's cool. We've done tours every time we went, but we decided to get married there. And so we got married in Pirates Alley. And actually I have a tattoo here that says Sired. So that's the exact location where we got married, in Pirates Alley. And it was wild because it was like, we felt like we were kind of at home. So we're like standing there going through our ceremony, and strangers are stopping. And then as soon as like the ceremony was over, people were like high five us. There was a little bar that's right there in the corner. She walked out with glasses of champagne and like things we weren't expecting. Like, you know what I mean? We were just like,
bring the shots.
It was pretty neat. Yeah, it was pretty neat. So, and we've been twice. Our plan is to go again this October. And again, it's just a super special city to us. So yeah,
that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know of too many people that do their marriage like that, like publicly open, like on the street with you three, I would assume.
Yeah. And the photographer was coming off to the side, right? So, but it was neat.
Yeah, those pics were, those pics turned out amazing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So
that's awesome. I never really even considered that. That's so cool.
Well, because traditionally, like, everybody's used to like big. And if Courtney wanted to have a big wedding because it was her first time getting married, like I'm all game, But we decided, with again the drama that was happening with it, we decided to just be ourselves. So yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I definitely wanted the audience to get a little bit of a personal view of you, because, a lot of them only see you here and kind of don't know some of the background, which is awesome that you can, share that. But as we transition here into kind of your real baby, next generation personal training, I wanted to touch on, Malaki and I both kind of want to touch on what you mean to us personally. I know for you to give an accountant from West Virginia with no training experience in person a chance to come here and kind of, fulfill a dream, so to speak, that's something that I'm forever grateful for. And I know when I came here, I was leaving a salary job, right? So you made sure that I was going to make it through, and you did that. So I just want to say I appreciate that so much. And, there's going to be some crying on these shows. So
absolutely. Should be.
Yeah, for you to put your trust in us and be behind us to support this is pretty incredible. Even like our first episode with the audio issues, you stepped up and, spent hours and hours trying to figure this out. And kind of this is how we have this set up now, is because of you. So,
and it looks cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Lights on the mics.
And a funny story too. We did our N1 practicals through N1 Education, and the very first one I went to was in Franklin, PA, at the Prime headquarters, right?
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah. No, it's Franklin. Yep.
Just outside of Pittsburgh, north of Pittsburgh, I think, right?
And me and you were both at that, and we didn't say a word to each other.
That's why.
And I remember, the one thing I remember about that is you brought home the trap bar from Prime.
One of the ones that's out here?
One of them, yeah. And I had like a smaller car. So after I paid Mike for it, I was like, how am I going to get this thing home? And I realized you could take it apart. Thank God you can take the arms off it.
Yeah. But life is just so funny that we were there in that moment. That was what, 2021?
21, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Towards the end of 2021.
Yeah.
And literally like 2 years later, I was hopping on a call with you about trying to, become a personal trainer here. So
2021, just to clear up, you were still in West Virginia accounting, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. And you had your N1 certification, went to the practical in PA. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
And that was like, and I think Yo had already done one, right? At that time, he did one previously. And like how I found about N1 as I was studying a lot of Joe Bennett stuff, and I'd repost some things. And then Mike, which I I trained like for a week at a gym with Micah, like in 2015 or 2014 or something. It was like years and years ago. It might have been longer than that. And randomly, she messaged me on Instagram and sent me a post from N1 and said, "Hey, I know you like Joe Bennett. You might like some of this stuff." Now, she hadn't gone through it, but then I was like, I'm all in. And so I took their courses by myself. And then it was just me by myself going to the practical, which you were at. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I didn't know who Yo was at that time either.
So, but you guys was Yo at the one outside of Pittsburgh with you guys?
No,
he wasn't at that one.
Yeah, I didn't know Yo then. Did you know him then? Maybe? Or
I am not sure on that one. Yeah, maybe on Instagram we followed each other. I'm not quite sure though. But it's funny because that practical was supposed to be at the beginning of the year of 2021, and then
they got COVID shut down.
Yeah, with the shutdowns, I wasn't worried if the practical was really going to happen. But yeah, that's kind of my take on kind of what you mean to me and how you've helped me kind of follow my dreams and my passion here. Something I'm very grateful for. I know Malaki definitely has some words to share about what you mean to him as well.
Right. Yeah, it was a little like we had kind of talked about before. It was different for me because I came in through a little bit of a different route. I guess we had no connection prior, besides the MFG guys. I came in and worked with them one day in here just to work out, see what the gym was like because I was coming from Crunch, just testing the place out because I didn't even know it was here. Started looking for an internship to fulfill graduation requirements. Talked to one of our former employees, Bill, and he said that you guys didn't do anything like that. So Steven, now I reached out to Brock directly to set up a meeting with him, and thankfully after that meeting it was really apparent to me that the way that we do things here is much different. The way that you did things here was much different, and it was something that I really wanted to be a part of. So after going through the internship process, it was just recently that I found out that halfway through the internship process, I guess you and Courtney had talked about you not wanting to hire another male trainer, but apparently she told me that like a couple weeks ago. It's kind of hilarious.
I liked you, so
thank God. Well, just like I said, like in our intro podcast, you kind of had this aura around you,
right?
That, we could see like something was special there. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, because if you didn't hire me, then I probably would have went to Power Train or Crunch. But it was, it was really cool, getting to sit down and talk to you, because a lot of the times with bigger companies, you don't get to sit down and talk to the guy that runs it or the person that's in charge of everything. So even then, it was nice to have that immediate relationship with you, even if it didn't end up being an employment situation. It was just nice to get to see your face as the person who runs the company, and it was immediately apparent to me that things were different here, and it was something that I wanted to be a part of through what you had cultivated and built from 2-3 years prior to me joining, which was really cool.
And now you're on leadership team, which is super cool. So
yeah,
that's
super didn't awesome. See that coming.
Well, I mean, we see like your dedication, how hard you work, just your personality, all of that, man. You're like, got the entire package. Yeah, so that's a great thing to see.
That's super cool.
I kind of wanted to dive into kind of the beginning or the birth of NGPT, right? So this was created in 2015. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Partnered with ARC in 2022.
Yes.
In this building, which is pretty amazing. So we went from 30 to 40 personal clients to we're over 300 now,
clients now,
which is wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Wild. Yeah. We're up to 13 trainers.
Yep.
Is it 13 or 14?
13, I think.
13.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
That's
4 leadership team members, not counting you, correct?
Correct.
So
yep.
NGX cycle. Shout out to Micah and all the instructors. They do an incredible job. We're actually in their room right now. Appreciate them allowing us to do that
Great
too.
Space.
Yes. AC feels amazing in here too, by the way.
I'm going to have a podcast here today and cycle class tomorrow night. So
that's right. Yep. And we've expanded to Yo does the posing. We have a contest prep division. Lots of amazing things that we do. So maybe if you just kind of want to touch on, kind of from the beginning to now, kind of your thoughts.
Sure. The genesis of NGPT was I was forced kind of out of where I was training by myself. And so in 2015, I just formed a sole proprietorship. So I started my technical company in 2015, but the reality is it was just me for a long time. And then getting into N1, going to N1's practicals, it birthed this vision. Actually, I don't even want to say that was birthed yet, but then Yo reached out to me and he started coming to New York Fitness at that time. And then we had a conversation about bringing him on as a trainer. And then him, myself, and Chris Peters went to the second N1 practical the following year. That one was in Colorado.
That's the one that we see in the videos.
Yeah. So that one was the one that birthed this vision of having a training company, one that was run different, that was very focused on taking care of the employees, and outside of that, that the biggest thing was that they were educated and actually understood training. There were science-based trainers that could get results for people, right? So that's where we dove heavy into biomechanics, nutrition, anatomy, physiology. And I would argue that we have the most educated. You put up a post yesterday or today. We have the most educated trainers, bar none, that I've been around in a single group. I'm not saying there's not onesies and twosies here and there, but an entire company of trainers that really understand the in-depth biomechanics, anatomy, physiology, all that type of stuff, and nutrition, right? So that's where that vision was birthed. And then we just had to figure out how we were going to do it, which was the challenge. Where were we going to find people, right? And where were we going to get trainers? And lo and behold, like all the people just kind of showed up, so to speak, and some were N1 educated like yourself, like Yo already was. Who else? Steph already was N1. So we had a handful that were, some that had a collegiate background like Malaki, but then other ones that were just hungry to learn and grow and had a passion for training. And if someone's teachable and coachable, we can teach them anything. Right. The problem is when people think they already know everything. Right. So, then that's not a good fit for our culture in general. So that's where it was birthed. And then when I met Noah years ago, working at New York Fitness, and then he was going to purchase New York Fitness, that fell through, but we were going to partner together anyways. So we decided to move forward with that. And we both had, again, a dream and vision of what we wanted the culture to look like, that we thought we could do something special here, which we did. So, and you guys mentioned on the first episode, for that people don't know, so ARC is the gym that we train out of, but it's more than just a gym. It's a community. It's a vibe. It's very special here. Yes, we have literally the state of the art equipment, but it's more than just that equipment. It doesn't make a place special. It's the people that are here. And then we've had to learn how to, as a training company, mingle with the regular gym clientele and make that very cohesive, because again, there's a lot of gyms that have training companies in there, and like they butt heads, and it doesn't work well. And I've seen that. I've seen both sides of that equation. So, that's a long story short, but that's what birthed us. And we're always evolving, right? There's always that evolution. We're always moving forward, so it started out with just training. Then we added in a cycle studio because we had someone who had a passion for that. And then we started a contest prep division. So we're working with competitors and bodybuilders. And then we added in posing. And so we experimented with some stuff. We had a run club. So essentially what we try to do here is that any of our trainers that want to specialize in something, that really have a passion for something, we want to see if we can create that for them. I know eventually Malachi is really passionate about working with athletes and something. So eventually that's another division that we want to expound onto and add on. But again, we have to have a foundation and then do things right. Because again, some of it is trial and error. We have failed at some things, and that's okay. But we want to, do our best to make sure that we can make it successful.
Yeah. And I want to add on to that about kind of just the trainers being able to kind of go out on their own and pursue things that they're passionate about, and bringing it to you, and you actually being supportive and wanting us to do that. Just like kind of this podcast came about, and you were 100% behind it from the very beginning, just as you are with every other trainer that wants to pursue something, whether it's Chris with running, Michael with cycle, Yo with posing, all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
All of it. Yeah.
And that's something that you can't get that anywhere else. Like if you were working with any other training company, maybe even in like just, corporate world, having a boss that is super supportive and wanting you to pursue things and bring value to the team is an incredible feeling. So
yeah,
it's very awesome.
I think that as most people that are listening to this, and you guys know, like, if you're passionate about something, like, it's not hard to wake up and go to work every day. I'm not saying you're not tired some days. I'm not saying you can't get run down a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you end up going to work every day and it's just a job and it's just a paycheck, like, it sucks. I've been there. I've had a lot of jobs over the years and just did things because I had to pay the bills. So when you come to me like, hey, what about this project? And it's something you're excited and passionate about, like, cool, let's run with it. Right.
Yeah.
Like, come up with a game plan, come up with a business plan for it. And then, like, let's roll, So yeah, it's cool. I love seeing it and I get excited about it. Right. So
yeah, you absolutely do. So I kind of want to touch on something a little personal for you. Kind of what do you love most about what you do, what this company stands for, and where you see this company going, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20, who knows?
So my passion has shifted many times over the years. Like, when I first got into training, I was just passionate about training, passionate about helping people. Then I got to work with specialized clients, competitors, athletes. And again, it adds like another layer of things that you're passionate of working with. At this point in my life, I still enjoy training. I still love working with my clients, but more than anything right now, it's this type of stuff. It's pouring into our team. It's raising up the next leaders. It's when we do our leadership meetings, like, I thrive on that stuff. Like, I would do that every day.
There's so much fun.
I love brainstorming and throwing ideas out and like, hey, what's next? How do we handle this? How do we solve this problem? And I thrive in that stuff now. And then it's not that I'm not passionate about the day-to-day training, because I still grind. I still work full time, running a company, and I still train full time. But that's what I like to do. And that's where over the next few years, I'll probably be more training part-time and then spending more time on building the company itself. Right. Yeah. With that being said, right now, we're just trying to solidify what we're doing and just make things as tight and as good as they can. We're always coming up with better ways to make the processes better, procedures better, our training better, making sure things don't slip through the cracks, and that'll serving our clients better and making us better at attrition, our communication. We had a business coach for a long time that was helping us with our communication skills and all these types of things, which will then set us up to continue to expand. The plan long term is to open up multiple facilities. And then that's going to be a whole nother,
challenge
to figure out.
Yes, it's going to be a headache.
Right? So how do we duplicate what we did here
elsewhere
at a second, a third, a fourth location, and it can be done. It's just going to take the right people in the right places, the right education, the right leadership, and people growing in their own leadership, and big on communication, all that type of stuff. But in the meantime, like, we're going to continue to work on making training better. We're going to work on building out the contest prep division. Mm-hmm. We have a handful of competitors that we're going to work. We're getting more qualified competitors that are continuing to come on board, that are bigger names, those types of things. So I think that's going to continue to grow, where we're going to eventually be a household name in contest prep, where if the local competitors like, hey, I want to. And we have a ton of competitors that just come to ARC in general, like, oh, you need to go to NGPT if you want to, get ready for a show. Right. And that's the plan. And originally we were just doing like training nutrition, but now we're adding in posing, because we wanted to work on that, having to outsource things to other companies,
keeping things in-house.
Right. When I wasn't as versed in nutrition, I would just train people and outsource nutrition. And then we got more educated on that. We bring that in-house. Now we bring in posing and those types of things. So the more things we can do in-house, or we're a one-stop shop for all of that type of stuff, the better. Yeah. Right. Still growing the cycle studio. And that's, we ordered a ton of bikes, put a bunch of money into this facility. So Micah, and again, us collectively working on growing that. So those are the things that we're going to work on. I know early on, Noah and I were like, we opened this up and we were like, oh, let's open up another one next year. Like, hold up.
Slow down, buddy.
We got a little far ahead of ourselves, because again, it's just, making sure we have all the moving parts in the places they need to be. But yeah, I see, you know, and I don't know how big I want this to be or us. It's not just about me. It's about the team and where do we want to go with this? You know, do we want it to be a national company? Is that too much? Is that too big? I'm not saying it's too big to dream that big, but just realize you have that dream. Like other areas of your life to sacrifice them.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Right? You're working 70, 80 hours a week. You're missing your family and all that. So there has to be some balance. And, you know, for me, like, I don't know if I want to do that, you know, so.
Yeah.
I know, talking about, you know, just the community here, how the partnership between NGPT and ARC is just, it matches so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like it just pairs together so well. And we have to give also a shout out to Scott. He owns the building, for allowing that to happen. And it's just taken off from, I remember walking up, well, actually coming up here for the first time to meet you guys, and it
10 times
was looking back now, it's just fascinating, like how far this place has come. And yeah, I remember just having the front room only and all the crazy setups that we would have to do.
Yep.
And now we have all this amazing prom equipment. No more crazy setups.
Right.
And yeah, that's just, yeah, the actual like community here just makes it everything. It's so just incredible. So
Can't find it anywhere else.
nope, you cannot.
Unfortunately.
No.
But I think that'll be the hardest part, especially if we do end up expanding into multiple locations, is just recreating what we did here. You touched on it, but like it's really easy, and we've seen bad examples of it with other companies. Not to drag anybody, but I'm sure we can all think of a couple. But like expanding into multiple locations, the quality from the home location starts to drag and dwindle. So I think as we move forward and grow as a company and as a gym name, it'll be super important that we take our time and carefully cultivate that environment elsewhere as well, which is going to be a whole nother challenge.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just going to be hands-on.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. I've seen other, it doesn't matter what companies they are, but when they expand, you don't ever see the owner.
Right. Yeah.
Like anywhere. Right. So, I mean, I was in a location where I didn't see the owner of the other training company I was there for 5 years. He never even stepped foot in the building.
That's insane.
And I'm like, who's this guy they speak of? You know?
Right. He's a figure.
So it's just interesting. And that's, I mean, some people set up their business because they just want it to be a money-making machine, which is fine.
And they want to be hands-off.
We wanted to be, we wanted to be different here, you know? Very hands-on mentoring and all the above. So,
absolutely.
I know another area where we really want to like expand on is just education in general. I know we've done some workshops, over the past couple of years. And even, you know, we plan on doing some educational stuff on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
And maybe even, you know, like workshops playing off of that too. So
I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, I don't know if I did. I even had a thought of eventually this, not just internships, but like this being a location or like almost like a school where people come to learn how to train.
Right.
They pay a tuition to come here.
Yeah.
And learn how to become a trainer. And then if they're great, we keep them on. So then, or they'll be prepared to go somewhere else. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, I was just thinking, because like barber schools, you pay to go learn how to be a barber. There's a school for it, right? To learn, teach you the skills. Yeah. Well, where's there a place where there's like a training school?
There's not.
Keystone maybe does something like but it's like in classroom style. It's not hands-on.
Right.
So that's even like something that I've considered. We can figure it out. We just got to create the game plan, you know. But I think that'd be neat to do.
I think we would oddly be qualified enough to do so. Like our trainers aren't just good trainers, they're good people. And that part doesn't go unnoticed by our clientele, which in a lot of places is kind of pushed aside, is just, hey, just train your person, let them see results, and just like afterwards just kind of do your thing. But I think that would be a really cool direction. Obviously talk that about other times, but I think that would be really cool. I like that idea.
I believe just other companies in general.
What's up, Coop?
What's up, Coop?
What's up,
big dog? How are you?
What's up?
Thank you. That's going to do really well now that you're in it.
Yeah. Anecdotally. Nice.
Brother.
I like it.
Raw and uncut, man. We love it.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, Coop's awesome. So the point I was going to touch on was I know a lot of clients that come to us are just blown away by kind of the value we provide, the quality of like just people we are. I know a lot of people from other gyms, they're scared to go to the gym. They think of trainers as, they're just counting reps and things like that. But we take pride in being so much more than that. Just the education that we pursue individually as a team. We want to be above and beyond, and, the quality of what we provide, is forefront.
I think Brock put it the best. It was a little while ago that you said it, but like you had mentioned how you want our trainers, if they were to go to a different company, to be the best trainer there.
Yeah.
Right. Hands down. And I think you do a really good job moving forward.
I think that would happen with all of our trainers for most places that they would go.
Right. I don't disagree with you. And that, like I said, that kind of starts with how you lead the team and how you kind of lead by example with continuing your learning and education and progress as a person as well. Just sets the foundation for the rest of us to follow. So it helps a lot.
Yeah, there's space for every trainer here, other places to be successful. And, we want to be able to see other people be successful too. And like having an educational platform where we can, help other trainers, become, the best version of themselves for their clients is something I think we can definitely pursue in the future.
I like that.
I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in just thinking that trainers just need to be educated on anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, but a good trainer needs to learn how to communicate well. They need to know how to build relationships. They need to know what is okay to talk about, what's not okay, what's off limits, because there's even a general teaching and training, like, don't ever talk about religion, politics, personal things. Like, that's good luck building a relationship with someone and don't talk about those things. That doesn't mean you should never be combative. That's not what I'm saying. You need to understand there's a time and place for all those things, but it is about building relationships. It's about supporting your clients. Like, how many of us go to our clients' things that they compete in, or events or social events, those types of things, and then they reciprocate. So there's more to it than just, again, counting reps and taking, clients through, hey, this is how you set up a custom press around or whatever, So,
Absolutely.
So coming from an accounting background, kind of understanding like just how important relationship building and communication are, that was a big step for me that I really had to learn. Like, I had the education, of course, but also had to grow as a person in that. So
you're used to just looking at a computer all day.
Talking to maybe 2 or 3 people a day all the time. That was it. So, and now, as trainers, we have to wear a different hat all the time. So it's just not being a trainer.
Nope. No, you have to be well versed in a lot of situations, because we're not just, especially here, we're not just trainers. I've joked with some of my clients that we're counselors, therapists, life coach.
Oh, absolutely.
Literally everything, which is, it's tough sometimes, that's for sure. But it's fun. It's fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't know, but
it's been a great ride, and, we're just getting started, right?
Just getting started, man. We got a long time to live, hopefully. So
absolutely.
Hopefully. Absolutely. But I guess that kind of wraps us up.
Well, we appreciate your time today, and I'm sure the audience is going to be super excited to hear some words you have to say.
It's been an honor. I'm excited about it.
So happy. And you'll definitely be back on. So
let's go.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Get used to that face.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So guys, we'll be putting this out pretty soon, but next episode 3, we're going to be having Noah Snyder on, owner of ARC. So we're going to be pretty excited for that. And we'll be looking for you guys at that time. So
absolutely. Cool. Thank you for watching.
Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. See y'all later.
See ya.